Every day in British politics, something just completely inexplicable happens. And you see the headline and you read into it and you're like, what possible reason could we have for doing this? How could this be to our advantage? And today's example of that is the fact that for some reason, the Chinese want to build a gargantuan embassy right in the middle of London, right next to the Tower of London, where the Royal Mint used to be, and within a stone's throw of, like, not Wall Street, the London Stock Exchange, and like all of these financial districts, and all of these important things that are in the centre of London. And it's like, yeah, why don't we just let the Chinese build a gargantuan 200-bedroom embassy there for reasons that we just can't explain? Like, unsurprisingly, a lot of people aren't really very happy about that. This would be the largest diplomatic outpost in Europe. And everyone's like, well, hang on a second, what kind of things does the Chinese embassy do? Now, China has been accused of running secret police stations in Canada and America and various other places, where the Chinese sort of embassies and, like Chinese private clubs, I guess you call them, act like a kind of informal ethnic police to the Chinese communities. And of course, they use them for spying, for espionage, for stealing of secrets and things like this. And one can't help but wonder, what advantage would we gain from allowing the Chinese to have a massive embassy in London? Like, what's the upshot to us, exactly? What's the point? I mean, you get people like pointing out that, look, the embassy has proximity to strategic fibre optic cables that go under the financial district, and they could spy on dissidents and ordinary Britons. The location also makes it hard for crowds to gather to protest issues from China, and this, therefore, becomes an extension of the Chinese Communist Party's power in the UK, says pro-Hong Kong groups and protesters. So, yeah, it kind of seems that would be the case. So why are we doing it? I mean, look at this is what they already have, and they just want to make it literally like 3 or 4 times bigger. Why would we allow this? Why would we be okay with them building, like, just genuinely a massive, massive embassy? Again, what advantage is there to us? Now, you may remember a few years ago that David Cameron had an incredibly pro-China policy, and Boris Johnson was actually the one who rolled this back, because it was so pro-China at one point, it looked like Huawei were going to basically buy up Britain's communications infrastructure, and everyone was like, is that sensible? Is that wise? I mean, this is a foreign power that is adversarial to us at best, that has a habit of planning in the hundreds of years into the future. And so if we're like, yeah, you can just buy a massive thing in London, like, that's surely not going to come back to bite us in the arse, right? That's not going to be something our short-sighted politicians will say yes to because they'll get £750 million for it. And they'll be like, yeah, I kind of wish we hadn't done that. You know, and the Huawei purchase was like ended at the 5th hour as well. But anyway, so obviously cybersecurity experts are like, this isn't wise, guys, because it's not like the Chinese aren't the kind of people who won't do this. The Chinese government will make sure that spying, wiretapping, whatever else it is that they do happens in London, because they are a communist party and they are trying to rebuild their power after their century of humiliation. So maybe this is supposed to be, this should be something we should be at least slightly circumspect about. Experts warn planning officials are woefully unprepared to handle an application of this nature. Oh, brilliant. That's great. I mean, that's just, I just don't see why we would even countenance this. Or an adversarial communist government would come to us and say, oh yeah, can we build up just a gargantuan embassy right next to all of your financial district and right next to a bunch of really sensitive fibre optic cables and stuff like that? And we're just like, well, I mean, do you have the money? Are you going to pay for it? And they're like, yeah, we got loads of money from slave labour, actually. So we're happy to use it. And it's like, yeah, sure. I mean, everyone is in opposition. Obviously, local residents don't want this. But you've got politicians as well and counter-terror police being like, yeah, no, this is really concerning, right? Really, really concerning. Obviously, you've got the people in the Tory party who are also like concerned about this. But Angela Rayner is the one who's going to be the one who signs this off. And so she's facing a fight over it because loads and loads of people. The planning inspectorate has now reportedly given the development the green light. So the Deputy Prime Minister is set to rubber stamp the decision by September. Like, but why would you want to do that? Why don't you just refuse? Again, lots of people are like, hang on, this isn't wise. And these aren't just like, die-hard conservative partisans either. But you've got Robert Jenrick being like, this seems unwise. The super embassy spy hub would be damaging for our national security. I mean, not that anyone seems to care about our national security or the very fact of a nation here. But this is something that we have to think about. Because today the UK published an actual national security strategy that thinks we have to actively prepare for potential war in the homeland. Now, this isn't the civil war stuff that everyone's been warning about. This is them worried about hostile activity from foreign agents. The review highlighted Russia and Iran as potential threats. Oh yeah, I'm sure China's not in any way a potential threat, right? There's nothing to worry about here. But it added, meanwhile, some adversaries are laying the foundations for future conflict, positioning themselves to move quickly to cause major disruption to our energy or supply chains and to deter us from standing up to their aggression. Oh yeah? And how might they be doing that? Maybe they're creating a giant fucking embassy right in the middle of London that's connected to all of the important stuff that the running of the British state relies on. Maybe? Do you think? Like, this is wild that we are allowing this. This is crazy. On the same day that they're like, yeah, well, we're probably going to end up in wars, so we need to start worrying about that. Anyway, this was brought up, and of course, Peter Kyle, minister, just comes out and goes, yeah, no, we're not worried about it. Not worried about this for some reason. I mean, what? Peter Kyle has assured us that the security concerns will be taken care of assiduously in the planning process. Well, that's not what we heard elsewhere, is it? What we heard is that they're woefully unprepared to handle an application of this nature. And if your assurance is, oh, don't trust us, bro, we're ready, well, I'm actually going to err on the side of caution and suggest you guys are fucking incompetent and actually will end up creating way more problems than you solve, just like every other single thing the Labour Party has done ever. And I mean ever, since your fucking founding, you've made changes that have been bad, and suddenly we've had to deal with the consequences, and for some reason, the Conservatives will never roll any of them back. Loads of things, and I could go off on a mad diatribe on this, loads of things that the Labour Party have done over the years have been bad ideas, and for some reason, we are still saddled with all of them. Absolutely all of them. Every single fucking change that the Labour Party has made that has made things worse, the Conservatives are like, well, there's nothing more that we can do. That's been done. I guess we live in this future now. This is just the way things are. I guess we just have to carry on, which, again, the Conservatives are just fucking useless. Anyway, so even the US is like, guys, why exactly do you want China to have a super embassy in London? We are a bit worried about Chinese access to sensitive communications from one of our closest allies. And the thing is, you can kind of see where they're coming from, because, like, okay, what, like with Canada doing the military drills with Chinese troops on Canadian soil, it's like, what are you doing? Like, what is your plan? What is the point of this? Like, don't you think that this is a bit of a concern, that we probably shouldn't be doing this? And for some reason, I mean, this is just, they don't care. This isn't going to deter them in any way. When our largest ally and most important allies were like, that's not wise. Because, I mean, we are literally just going to do it, right? So it's expected that this will just be given approval by Angela Rayner. She, for some reason, is just going to do this. Apparently, Xi Jinping personally lobbied Keir Starmer in a phone call over the development, with the final decision, of course, going to Angela Rayner for some reason. And so it's like, right, so Xi Jinping calls up the Prime Minister. He's like, look, bro, I really want this. Please, can we have it? And Keir Starmer's just like, yes, why not? I am a robot, and I don't dream I'm an idiot sent from the future to destroy the United Kingdom. I just can't understand why we're like this. Anything that makes Britain weaker, they do. Absolutely anything and everything. Anything that makes us stronger, more well-defended, more well-prepared for the future, like a nation that looks to the future and expects to exist in it, we do the opposite. And Alright, well, I mean, I'm not going to try and pretend I can divine the madness in the Labour Party and their minds, their empty, hollow minds, where they're just mechanically rubber stamping stuff. Well, I mean, Xi Jinping asked for it. So what? I mean, just what are we doing? But anyway, so yeah, we're going to get a massive Chinese mega embassy in London because the Labour Party will just, with guns to the head, just, why don't we just stamp that? And that means that we're going to have problems, right? I mean, it's not like there haven't been massive problems with Chinese espionage with our allies, for example, with Americans, with Chinese students getting deported from American universities for stealing loads of stuff. Although there was one about a virus the other day, wasn't there? And it's like, what are we doing? Like, the Chinese Communist Party is quite prepared to use spies against us and use our openness against us. We have to learn to, unfortunately, be mildly discriminating in some of the decisions that we make, and maybe letting the Chinese have a mega embassy right in the heart of London next to all of our important stuff isn't wise.